And Terrace, what are you doing here?
What, am I no longer allowed to come to Doldana when I want?
You know damn well that's not what I meant.
Welcome back to Let's Play .hack GU Volume 2. Having just logged back in the world, we're off to get us a job extension. And Antares is standing there, apparently minding his own business. Ooh, that's right, Syllabus and Gaspard contacted us. So we should probably get them in our party. Because they want to help us out, so why not, man? Come on, you two, you just standing there? You know what, whatever. Let's go accept us a quest. Because there's a dude right down here who's gonna help us become even more awesome than we already are. Heck yeah. You'll notice we actually have 4 quests here. This is going to be a quest bonanza of an update. I'm gonna see just how many of these I can get done today. We are doing Seeker of Karma, though. As it says right there, it is the job extension event.
Oh!
It's the old man with the big nose again. I remember him from before. I don't know, sloth isn't a very good reason to seek power. Oh, power produces sloth. Okay, I can see that. The power we believe in.
With the power I believe in? Anyway, all we need to do is to complete this area.
Well then, let's go! We're moving out!
The power we believe in. So, why is it that we fight? And what is it that we draw our strength from? Ah, well, it's just fighting a bunch of monsters, isn't it? I'd say in that case, it doesn't really matter. So let's go fight some monsters. Heck yeah, monster fighting. Man, I got a lot of keywords here, too. A lot of these are pretty high level, though. I can't go to most of these. That one's 66, so I could conceivably... No, I couldn't. Though there are 2 areas down here. That one's 52, which I could do, and 61, which I also cannot. So yeah, get to those when we can. Which is not now. And we are off! If you remember the job extension quest... See if I was going to say anything about it. Nope, doesn't look like it. How many chim spheres do I have? I got 93, I'm good to go. The job extension quest in the previous game was a rather labyrinthine dungeon. Not a fun one to run around in. And it wasn't all that fun to run around in because it was very easy to get off track and get lost. It helps if you very much, especially since you had to run it solo. So it helps very much that we had Antares there to help us out. I know he's got a Rengeki on him. Please let me get it off. I wanted to get the full combo in. So far, though, we haven't had Antares' help, and we're coming in with a party.
This is a piece of cake.
Now you'd think already that means this dungeon is going to be much easier than the previous, and in fact, it isn't really. This dungeon has a couple tricks up its sleeve as well. Not the one I was trying to hit, but you know what, let's go. I don't want to get hit anymore. I want to... You know what? Worth it. I was actually debating for a moment, would it be worth it to Rengeki him? And then I had to stop and remember, the answer to that question is always yes.
We crushed them!
Now, let's see here. We already have a full gauge.
First strike!
So let's use it.
Here it comes! Okay, I'll do what I can!
Aha! The gauge isn't even empty yet.
I didn't even break a sweat.
So there we go. Let's see here. This is still gonna be a, respectably lengthy dungeon. And I would have liked to prepare a bit of a dungeon rant, but I really don't have much to rant about. Let's see here. I can say a couple things about this game. For one... Oh, it hurts, why? Let's see here. Granted, everything, they improved a lot come this game. They did do a couple things that I'm not quite as fond of. Let's see here. For one, this is stuff I've already talked about. Is, they changed the Rengeki. The sound effect for the Rengeki. If you could call it a sound effect, I guess. So they changed that. I'm not nearly as fond of that. They changed... Quit targeting Gaspard. Good enough. They changed Mecha Grunty, which I'm also not nearly as fond of. When you talk to dudes, there's no voiceover for that. And I really like that they went to the trouble of putting the voiceover for that in the first game, and I can't see why they would possibly get rid of it. Unless maybe they wanted to change it often enough that they would have to record so many lines. But I still wouldn't think that would be too huge a deal. No, I'm not getting hit by your spell. I am getting hit by that one. Or to be more precise, syllabuses. They did do a lot to improve the game, though. As I've already mentioned, the storyline, we've actually been given a reason in this game. I mean, I can understand not having, like, an overarching reason to be doing things early on in a game. I mean, it's quite common in RPGs. For the beginning of the storyline, crap, here... Okay, here is the first bit that makes this dungeon just a little bit harder. They ask you questions about the world's in-game history. Now, to be perfectly honest, I haven't answered these questions in a very long time, so let's see how good I do. Okay, on the world's history, when the younger deity lost his life, what happened with his last breath? Ocean, spring, I say the heavens. Yes! What name was the younger deity's spirit given afterwards? I'm gonna say Cernunnos, because it's the only one of these that I've seen anytime soon. But wow, the younger deity. That's who we were beaten on before. The elves built something in order to be treated the same as the gods. What did the elves make? Not the Whole Grounds Cathedral, City of Dawn, we haven't even seen that one yet. And the Air Fortress, Fort Oof, which, those of you who have played the original .hack or seen my Let's Play of it, will recognize what Fort Oof is. I'm gonna go with that one because it's freaking Fort Oof and I'm done getting punched in the stomach. Yes. Okay, so about the storyline and whatnot. It's a thing! And we're only given one option, so let's go in it. So yeah, about the storylines. Kind of my problem with the first 4 cutscene.
You know, the three of us playing together like this reminds me of when we first met. I bumped into Haseo while I was in town.
Yeah, I remember that.
At the time, I never thought that the newbie right in front of us was actually the PKK, the Terror of Death.
We weren't. I will give him props. He's using the correct form of newbie.
I asked him how he could be the Terror of Death and still be at level 1.
Yeah, and then you were PK'd soon after that.
And that was nice.
Wait, really?
Yep. Bordeaux took you out.
You were all...
You idiots. I'm not here to have fun.
And of all things to bring up, you have to bring back the painful years.
If you've got time to waste, spend it on improving your fighting skills.
Or at least talk about something that won't tick me off.
Sorry.
Don't get mad, Haseo. Let's, you know, have fun playing, okay?
Let's go.
Hard to have fun when what you're talking about is back to the days of you two calling me a noob because you're stupid. Good times, good times.
I think even I can win.
Yeah, let's see here. It is quite normal in RPGs. For at the very beginning of the game, you don't have a coherent storyline to it. You're just kinda strung along to doing things for a while, and you get pulled into a larger story. At the very beginning, who knows what you're doing? I mean, I remember in Tales of Symphonia, granted you had that sword, which was neat and all, but for the longest time you were just kind of following around trying to get somewhere not where you were. Kind of trapped where you were, and then you were stuck following around the thief, and you got kind of pulled into doing the government's work or be killed. But regardless, you felt very I shouldn't say restricted, that's a bad word for it. You felt very...
Bring it on!
Darn it! I thought he had his back turned. That stung a little. But it still felt very much like you had purpose. There was a reason you were doing there was a very good reason you were doing everything you were doing. If it was because you had something as simple as because you had no choice, or because it was that, or get thrown in prison for the rest of your life. But you still had a very good choice if you didn't even have a very large... Or you still had good reason if you didn't even have a very large overarching story. And I guess that's something that I feel felt a little off about the first GU game, because at the very beginning, they gave you a reason.
You're open!
I mean, they had Haseo, his grudge against Tri-Edge, so you really want to take out Tri-Edge. He's the big bad dude. So we get that. And then the fact that you were data drained and lost your level. And without your level, you lost everything you had. And you were fighting to get that back because you needed that kind of power to help fight, or to help fight against Tri-Edge and bring Shino back. And of course, at the very beginning, you did kind of get strung along by Syllabus and Gaspar, to where everything you were doing still felt very much like you were doing or you had a very good reason for doing a very good reason for doing what you were doing. And it was around shortly after you became the guild leader, and shortly before the tournament started, that it really lost that feeling of purpose. I mean, it really felt like Haseo just kind of forgot about Tri-Edge, and I've already covered all of this, and I've had people argue back and say it's like, well, maybe Haseo made this connection with Endurance, that, and maybe this, and yeah, maybe he did, but the storyline also didn't talk about any of that. In the end, he was left with, aside from just kind of being arrogant, he had no solid reason for half of the game. Okay, let's see here. The elves infuriated the gods and had their powers removed and their appearance changed. What were the elves transformed into? Ah, now this one I do remember, and of course, the options here don't leave us with many options. They certainly weren't going to turn into mecha grunties, and I doubt they were going to turn into chim chims, specifically the assassins. So I'm gonna go with Beastmen. Sol, the god of creation. Okay, so God of Creation took some power from the elves and made another race. This race was Pyros the freaking Third. I mean grunties. There was a race that was jealous of the grunties' wonderful power and wisdom. What race was it? Now, if I know anything about anything, the one group of people that is always jealous of someone else, humans.